it's the Daily Kebab. Greetings, Muttonistas. Welcome to the old town of Gaziantep, which happens to be Turkey's gastronomic capital as well. Unfortunately, when I looked at reviews for my hotel and decided, yes, I'll be right in the old centre's a bit too old. You have to lug your suitcase, and trust me, mine is heavy, about 500 metres, up a load of steps, and there are no bars and restaurants in the vicinity. The old cafe, and that's it. Anyway, it is very picturesque, and I don't mind walking as far as it takes to find good food. Right, folks, I got fed up of walking around. There are a couple of good-looking doner places which are not typical of the region, although there is a doner-style kebab that I could have brought you. But I've decided just to plump for somewhere that looked okay. Always a bit dangerous, but fingers crossed. Anyway, on to my predictions for the quarter-finals. Oh, and just as I was about to start, a plate of salad and those lovely onions with sumac, some herbs, and a wedge of lemon have arrived. Usual drink, I'm sure this is as dry as the Atacama Desert in this restaurant. Anyway, we're going to start off with Argentina against the Netherlands. And I have to say, even though Messi's been banging them in, and they were basically well on top of Australia, who were a fairly weak team in the last 16, I'm not convinced by them, not at all. And they were on, well, I wouldn't say on the ropes, but they nearly conceded an equaliser at the end of their game against Australia. The Netherlands, on the other hand, have been slowly creeping into this event, and Louis van Gaal is a wily old fox and may well end up winning this match by the use of superior tactics. I mean, when you look at the Netherlands, there are no out-and-out superstars there, yet they seem to be a tactically well-drilled unit. I mean, some of them are players who basically couldn't cut it in the Premier League, and therefore, because they function better as a team unit, I'm going to have this one edging towards the Netherlands, and I'm going to predict a score of 2-1 to the Netherlands. Now, Brazil against Croatia. Croatia have had to work very hard to get to where they've got to. Penalty shootout against Japan, just about held on against Belgium when Lukaku was finishing absurdly, whereas Brazil have been absolutely coasting it. Now, Brazil haven't actually played anybody that good yet, and whilst Croatia are not a top team these days, they're probably the hardest team they've had yet to play. I expect this one to pan out a little bit like their game against Switzerland, where the Croatians will defend diligently with a threat on the break, a greater threat on the break, by the way, than Switzerland, so that will force Brazil to be a little bit more cautious. I think the Brazilians will score, and then there'll be a tense finish where Brazil get another one as the Croatians push forward. I think the Croatians will try and stay in the game, but Brazil will win 2-0 in the end. Now, on to match 3, Portugal against Morocco. And haven't the Moroccans done jolly well to get here? I mean, their defence is like the solidest rock in the tournament. Well, it is so far. But also look at how Portugal performed without Ronaldo, who had quite frankly been stinking out the team and slowing them down. And I would say that Portugal are actually now a threat to win the tournament. Now they've worked out what they should actually be doing. Would I have them as favourites? No, but I think they've got a good chance, and I think they will get past the Moroccans and will be less susceptible to the counter than the Spanish were, who were hogging possession and playing very high up the pitch. I think Morocco won't yield so easily, but they'll yield once. So for me, Portugal 1, Morocco 0. And finally, the match that is the most important to me, France against England. Now, England, in their last match against Senegal, did take a while to get going, and we could have been 2-0 down. Okay, that would have been a bit harsh, but 2 great chances. Fortunately, the ref agreed with most of us that Stones' handball was accidental because it ricocheted off his knee. But, having said that, Pickford had to make a good save as well. And yes, once we got going, we were looking good up front, but again, it was against a very indisciplined African side who kept creeping further forward and then eventually were susceptible to balls over the top, and after the first goal went in, they basically crumbled. The French won't do that. The French are not a high-pressing team. Yes, there are some weaknesses at the back, but will we be able to take advantage of them? I don't think so much. And I think that front line of Dembele, Mbappe and Griezmann will cause England a lot of problems. I don't know how Maguire's going to cope with either Dembele or Mbappe, but I see some serious leakage here. And with regret, I have to predict that the final score will be France 3, England 1. Again, really hope I'm wrong there. Right, enough of my waffle. Kebab time, and I've just gone for the mixed kebab, and it actually looks quite good. When I saw the meat in the display in the window, it looked quite well marinated, and at least there are a couple of other customers here, because hardly anybody seems to be eating out. I saw a doner restaurant semi-busy, but having said that, I'm near the castle, I'm near the market, it's very late at night, so maybe I'm in the wrong part of town. I don't know quite what everything is, but I think we've got chicken shish, which really looks good. I think that's an Urfa kebab, like a minced beef without the spice, and I think that is the local spicy lamb kebab. Let's get stuck in, and I will be able to confirm or unconfirm as to what these kebabs actually are. Oh, and before I do, the bread is a little bit different. It's a little thicker, more like a naan bread. Maybe this place is run by Iraqis or Syrians, I don't know. I'm a chicken, so I'll start with the chicken. That is soft, tender, beautifully marinated, and there's a bit of spice in the marinade, which is very unusual for a Turkish chicken kebab, but I'm loving it. Okay, now on to what I think is the Urfa kebab, which is a ground minced meat kebab. There's a very similar one called the Adana kebab, which is more famous, but is spicier, whereas this one shouldn't be spicy. Not spicy, but oozing with flavour. Very, very nicely prepared meat, I have to say. Now for the lamb. That, I can't describe how flavoursome that is. It's got the real meaty, lamby flavour, and it's soft, tender, and has a slightly spicy coating. So, Muttonistas, I am going to pile in at full steam with the bread, the sumac, the onions, but I'm going to have to do it two-handed, which means leaving you for a while. Now that was a superb kebab for somewhere I just rocked up to and went into first night. Haven't got my bearings here yet. That was really delicious. Bread soaked up with meat juices so perfectly well. Not a single tough or bristly piece of meat, and all cooked to exactly the right point so that it was still very, very juicy. Now, for anybody actually coming here, the name of this place is Kebabchi Ali Usta, as you can see. They don't have a website, I didn't see an Instagram or Facebook page, so there we go. But well worth a visit, and I suspect the bill is not going to be very expensive here either. Well, lovely start to the trip in Gaziantep. As I said, if that's the basic standard of kebab, what a treat I'm in for here. Didn't see many people eating out, which is always a bit disturbing, but the price wasn't very high. It was 90 Turkish lira, which is slightly less than £4. Amazing value. Don't forget, mixed kebab, water, ayran yogurt drink and tea. And it came with bread, salad and onions on the side. The one thing I can see people going out for are the tons and tons of sweet shops here. They really have a sweet tooth in this city, and I was told that their sweets, again, are amongst the best in Turkey. Anyway, looking forward to the football tomorrow. I'll bring you my reactions then, but until then, that was your Daily Kebab.